When it comes to DLC maps in Call of Duty games, I don't think they have the best reputation. Like when DLC maps are announced, I would say most players are hoping that they're not complete piles of dung, instead of hoping they're actually good maps. And I'd also think it's fair to say we've had more bad DLC maps over the years than good ones. I guess mainly because the map creators are usually scraping the bottom of the barrel to get these maps out in time, and when we do get a good DLC map, it was probably already finished before the launch of the game, but maybe that's just me being cynical. In any case, let's take a look at some of the worst DLC maps in Call of Duty games, starting off in COD 4 with Creek. A map which just never resonated with me at all. For one, it's one of the most sniper friendly maps ever, and I like to snipe, don't get me wrong, but Creek was too into snipers for its own good that even sniper mains don't like it, because the last thing a sniper player in COD wants to come up against is another sniper. It would just be a rinse and repeat of running up that hill to mid-map, pop your head up, get a kill, then get revenge sniped from even further back in the map, and yeah, it got a bit tiresome. Plus, if you didn't run a sniper, have fun trekking around this rather large map, finding one enemy to shoot every 2 minutes. Not for me, and on that note, do bear in mind these are mainly my opinions, so feel free to agree and disagree in the comments. Moving on to Banzai and World at War, I so wish this map played as good as it looks. The big fuck off bridge, the beautiful waterfalls, the foliage people can hide in, the dark caves that players camp in, suddenly it's not so fun. For real, I've mentioned my dislike of Banzai before and it's split opinions, but for me, the flow of this map was way off. You don't dare cross the bridge because there's snipers posted up at either side, which forces everyone else into the dark caves, and it becomes a bit of a stalemate in my experience. A shame because the map looks incredible. Absolutely no prizes for guessing that Fuel makes a grand entrance into this video, and when I say grand, I'm not kidding. The Grand Canyon barely covers half of Fuel's landmass, and in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Infinity Ward brought back Fuel for these 100 player ground war matches we're getting in Modern Warfare, although it might still be too big for that. Once the biggest map in COD history and arguably the most hated map in COD history, it takes some effort to make a map so detested by the community. I can honestly count on one hand how many matches I've played on Fuel that didn't end with the match clock running to 0. It's just not a fun map to play on at all. We all know Treyarch had this issue in their Black Ops maps where they'd kind of how would you say, like, blow everyone's eardrums out with excruciatingly loud map mechanics, and it didn't stop when it came to designing DLC maps. Oh no, they ramped it up on Silo with rockets blasting off every minute it seems like. At least launch only had one. What made them think we wanted more of that? It's also another map on the larger end of the spectrum, which seems to be a recurring theme here, and that's not me saying big maps are bad, by the way, not in a million years. It just seems to be when it comes to making DLC, like big DLC maps, they don't catch on quite as well. Next up is Stockpile, which might be the most forgettable map ever. In fact, the only reason I actually remember this map is because of how forgettable it is. That does make sense, folks, stay with me. It's funny that Stockpile didn't even get skipped that much because people forget that they dislike this map. They don't even really pay attention when it pops up in the rotation. They only remember how stinking it is when the map finally loads up, and I honestly can't really pinpoint what makes it so bad as a whole. The map is just really bland, a bit boring, and even if there are people out there who remember it, you'll find even less who actually enjoyed it. Tell you something people do enjoy though, and that is being a part of our glorious notification squad, which if you're new here, you can join by hitting that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to join the notification squad like the two legends on your screen. That could be you up there. But let's continue. Here's a shocking revelation for you. I never actually bought any Modern Warfare 3 DLC and thus have never played some of the DLC maps at all, and others very little on a friend's account, but over the years I have heard for the most part the majority of MW3 DLC maps were of a pretty poor standard, with one map in particular taking most of the flack, and that is Liberation. Once again, mainly for being too big, but I have also read and heard that the spawns in this map were quite frustrating to deal with, so it's going in this list, but please do let me know detailed opinions, analysis, rants, whatever about MW3 DLC maps, and maybe I'll highlight them more in a part 2 if need be. Black Ops 2's standard of DLC maps was fairly high in my opinion. However, I can think of 3 straight off the bat which I just did not enjoy at all, and the first one is Encore with its absolutely horrific flow. Circular maps can work, but the way it was done in Encore was enough to get booed off stage. It's sad that the best part about this map was the drums you could interact with. Detour, I'm taking a swift detour whenever I see this map pop up in the lobby, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but I'll say it again, there is no way a map like Detour passes any sort of quality check to make it into the main game. The higher ups at the studio would just say, that map is not good enough, scrap it. So how does it slip into a DLC pack we have to pay extra money for? Pod. A bit of a mess, not much to say about it actually. And lastly for this video, Freefall in Ghosts. Now again, I didn't buy any of the DLC maps for this game, however Freefall is technically a DLC map as it came with certain editions of the game and pre-orders, and I really wish it didn't because it's definitely one of my most hated maps of all time, not just DLC wise. It's an absolute mess, a crumbling skyscraper map which would degrade as the match goes on, and it changes certain areas in it. It was meant to be Call of Duty's answer to Battlefield's Levolution at the time, and it was pitiful. It's an absolute camper's paradise too, even the bots are camping in it. Folks, that is going to be all for this video. Please leave a like on it if you've enjoyed it, and let's go for those 2,000 likes. As always, do let me know if you'd like a part 2 of this video, taking a look at some of the newer DLC map monstrosities, and of course let me know your opinions on the maps featured in this video. One last time, if you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and be a part of the fun around the channel going forward. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.